What's up, Facebook fam? Just trying to get my phone set up here. Hope everyone's having a good one. Ricky V here. Happy Wednesday. I want to have a real chat with you. I want to have a real conversation with you. Today, I want to talk a little bit about success. I want to talk a little bit about mindset. I want to talk about a little bit about what it takes to really get out there and win, what it takes to go out there and make it happen in life. I want to help people, you all. I want to help everyone get to the top. I know what it's like to be at the bottom, and I want to help every single person out there get to the top. And I want to have a real talk with you guys. I want to have real conversations with you all. So if you're catching this live, go ahead and share it. Go share it in the team chats. Go share it in the team pages. Go share it with anybody. I'm going to keep this as generic as I possibly can. But I'm excited to be here tonight. It's a climb to the top, you all. No one takes a plane and gets dropped off at the top of the mountain, right? It's a freaking climb to get to the top. And you know what? I've been on that climb. I've been on that climb for 11 years. I've been on that climb day in and day out. I've been on that grind day in and day out. And it doesn't matter, what level of success you achieve. For me, it's always just getting to that next level and helping somebody else get to that win, right? So for me, I just want to help everyone, you all, because you know what? I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to go through rejection. I know what it's like to go after failure after failure. I know what it's like to be broke. I know it all, you all. I've been through it all. And the reason why I do these Facebook Lives is because I want to make sure that I make it happen. So give me one sec, guys. You gotta get out of my office, okay? I want to help make it happen, so we're going to do this. And if you are ready to commit, if you're ready to commit to go to the next level, drop a 1 in the comments below. If you are ready to commit to make it happen, drop a 1 in the comments below. If you are ready to take your life to the next level, if you're ready to make sure that you take your significant other to that dream vacation or you provide for your kids the way you want to, you all, then drop a 1 in the comments below, because I've been on a mission almost a decade, more than a decade. I've been on a mission, guys, just chasing the best self that I can possibly be. I've been on a mission, just making it happen. And I've been through it all. So I know what you're going through day in and day out. I know the frustrations that happen. And what I'll tell you all is something that I'm really, really obsessed about is not just winning for myself. And it's not just winning for my family, but I want to make sure that when I'm winning, it's because other people are also winning, that other people are getting out there and achieving their goals. And so that is my purpose in life. I want to impact as many people as I possibly can. So what I've done is I've taken some notes tonight, right? Some things came to my mind. I like to just go live when something's on my mind, but there was quite a few things in my mind tonight. And what I did is I pulled up the notes here in my here on my laptop, and I want to share a few things with you that just came to mind. Is that okay? Is it okay if we spend a little bit of time together? And I like to give you all some real talk, maybe a little bit of tough talk, but I want to make sure that at the end of the day that you never look back and say, Ricky V lied to me. I want to make sure that, like, if you go through the whole grind, that you say, man, he was right. It was going to take some time. It was going to take some work, or I was going to go through this. So let's kick it off here. Okay. First thing I want to say, that if anyone has ever spoken nicely about you, they were right. If anyone has ever said something nice about you or done a nice gesture for you, they were right. Because a lot of times we go through life thinking that we're not enough, right? I can honestly tell you guys, I believe 100% that 95% of that didn't make sense, but I could tell you 95% of the reason, I can tell you that with full conviction, that the reason why it took me long to get to the top, and getting to the top is irrelevant because I'm still not at the top, right? But getting to a place where I feel like I'm making progress, the reason why it took me so long was because I didn't believe my own self-worth in the beginning. I didn't believe that I was enough. I didn't believe that I was God's highest form of creation. I didn't really believe that, right? I didn't believe that I was powerful beyond imagination. But I'm here to tell you all right now that if anyone has ever said something nice about you, if you've ever thought something nice about you, they were right. You were right. And I'll tell you all right now that there is a book being written about you, and you are the author. Like, there's a book of life, and you are the author. Every one of us has a book, right? You are the own author of your book. There's nothing that anyone can write in that book that's not of your own personal choice, because you are the author. Do you agree with me on that? If you want to build the most successful book because you're the author, drop a 2 in the comments below. So I'll tell you right now, at any given moment, you can turn the page and start a new chapter. And that's the cool thing about the book and you being the author, is that no matter what's happened in chapter 1, no matter what's happened in chapter 2, no matter what's happened in chapter 3, no matter what's happened in chapter 4, the moment you want to write a new chapter, the moment you said, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to write myself a new chapter. You can do it just like that. It doesn't take 10 years to change your life. It doesn't take 5 years to change your life. It doesn't even take 5 months to change your life. You can actually change your life fairly fast. Okay, it may not happen overnight, but there's one thing that you can change immediately. Right now, the one thing that you can change is a direction that your life is going. Right? You may not be able to change it overnight right now. It might take you a few months, right? But what you can do is you can start to change the direction of where your life is headed. Does that make sense? So for me, I got started in this industry 10 years ago. So it's been 11 years. It's been 11 years of writing my chapter in network marketing, right? Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, lots of failures. But it took me 10 years, you all. And not that it took me 10 years to make money. I've been making 6 figures, for the last 5 years. But what I'll tell you is like, it wasn't enough for me. And it wasn't enough for me. And it wasn't just the money, but I expected a lot more from myself. And it took me 10 years, you all. It took me 10 years to basically say, hey, you know what? Like, that's it. I'm going to write a brand new chapter about myself. I'm going to start to talk different. I'm going to start to dress different. I'm going to start to think about myself different. When I talk to people, I'm going to speak with more conviction. When I talk to people, I'm going to talk with more power. When I think about myself, I'm going to think about myself at a higher standard. When I look in the mirror, I'm going to think nothing but great thoughts about myself. It took me 10 years to get to that point where I literally looked in the mirror and I was like, there is no one better. And by the way, I'm not saying that in the sense that I'm better than everyone, but what I'm saying is that you have to get to the point that you believe in yourself more than anybody does. Because there's one thing that people always talk about, which is influence, right? And what is influence, right? Like, how do you influence a group of people, right? And for the longest time, I thought that influence meant that I was good at convincing people to do what I wanted them to do. That's what I thought influencing was, right? What I learned was that influence has nothing to do with how good you are at convincing other people. Do you all know what influence really is? Influence means that other people believe what you're saying. It's not about whether or not they believe what you're saying. It's at the end of the day, they can be like, man, that dude or that woman, they 100% believe what they're talking about. Do you feel me on that? If you want to have some influence, if you want to have some conviction, it doesn't come down to whether or not someone believes what you're saying. It comes down to you looking in the mirror right now and saying, do I believe what I'm saying? Do I believe what I'm promoting? Do I believe what I'm talking about? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who joins you, who doesn't, who says yes, who doesn't. At the end of the day, you know what matters? It matters that you're taking action every day. And it matters that when you're taking that activity, that action every single day, that you're taking that action with a lot of purpose because you believe 100% in what you're talking about. Okay. Anyway, so that was like a little bit that I was thinking about in my own notes, because I look at it like we're all a book, right? We're all writing our own chapter, right? We're all playing a movie in our minds, right? Like our brains are made up of movies, right? Like when you think about things, you think about images, you think about movies. And a lot of us are an extra in our own movies. Like when we think about greatness, when we think about, wealth, when we think about success, we don't see us as the main character. We don't see us as the main lead. We're someone that's just behind the scenes, and you got to stop thinking that way. You got to believe right now that you are the main character. You got to believe that you are the main character of your own movie. Does that make sense to you all? So anyways, the next thing is this. Can your dreams be bought? Okay. Can your dreams be bought? I think for a long time there, I felt like maybe my dreams could have been bought. But at the same time, like I didn't allow it. And here's what I mean by that. What I mean is that a lot of you guys, your dreams might be able to get bought. Right. And what I mean is that with enough rejection, with enough failure, with enough like people like whatever, talking smack about you, doesn't matter. With enough rejection and failure, a lot of people are willing to walk away. A lot of people are willing to say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm busy anyways. It's not like I really wanted to make that much money. I'm cool with where I'm at. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they try to justify it. They say, if the family never gets to take that dream vacation, well, at least we're healthy and at least whatever. Right. But what I'm saying is that means that your dreams can be bought. And you know what happened? I got started in this industry 11 years ago. I was 20 years old. Guys. I had zero influence. And you guys want to know what? The very first thing, and maybe this is what solidified it for me. Maybe what solidified it was the first person that I shared my business opportunity with completely clowned me. Completely just laughed in my face. Completely just said that ish doesn't work. Right? Like they clowned me so much that first business like opportunity presentation that I did to this individual that it triggered something in my brain. And I don't know what it was, but I still hold that image in my mind where it's like I've been proving them wrong since day one and I wasn't going to quit. It didn't matter what was going on. It didn't matter if a business was going good or if a business was failing. Like that image came to my mind all the time of like, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going because that image comes in my brain where it's like that person rejected me so bad that in my mind I was like, you know what, just because of you, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to have more success than you ever will. And you know what? I did. I was able to do that at a very young age. And now I've completely quantum leaped past anything that they've said, right? And the thing is this, guys, is that doesn't make him a bad person, right? If anything, I should send him a thank you card or maybe even a gift card and say, hey, thank you for rejecting me, because if it wasn't for that rejection, I would have probably quit the industry 3 years in because of the rejections, because of the failures. But because they rejected me so bad, I was like, you know what? Because of you, because of your negativity, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to have more success than you could ever dream of, right? 3 years into the game of network marketing, and I reached out to a 7-figure earner and I said, hey, I want you to take a look at my business opportunity. I didn't care if it was a CEO. I didn't care if it was a 7-figure earner. I didn't care how much influence somebody has, guys. I'm out there pitching my business day in and day out. So I talked to somebody that was earning 7 figures and I wasn't. And you know what they told me? They said, why would I ever sign up with you? Because you're not even successful and I'm making 7 figures. So why would I ever sign up with you? You know what I did? Here's what I'm saying. You guys want to know what I did? I screenshotted that. I still have it in my phone today. And today I make more money than this individual because it drove me. I said, you know what? You're right. And because you're right, I'm not going to prove you wrong. And I ended up out earning this individual that 7 years ago, 8 years ago said that they would never allow me to sponsor them. And now their teams are coming over to our company. And again, it's not so much of a vengeance attitude. It's more of saying, hey, you know what? You drove me. Thank you. Because of that, I'm going to go quantum leap past your success. There's something in me that just drives me when people say you can't do this or this is stupid or whatever, right? And it just drove me. But here's what I'll tell you, okay? I learned to shift my messes into a purpose. I turn my failures into successes. So I was, how many of you all know Ed Mylet? Ed Mylet, to me, is one of the greatest public speakers, influencers out there. He's got a book called Max Out. And I was listening to an interview that he did the other day. And he said that in his early stages of success, he was wanting to buy this plot of land in Idaho because it was right in front of a lake. And in this plot of land, he would drive past it all the time. And he would go fishing there all the time just to look at this plot of land. One day, he's there. And there's a guy standing on the plot of land. And the guy says, and so Ed Mylet walks up to him and says, hey, are you the owner of this plot of land? The guy says, I am. And he says, hey, would you be willing to sell it? The guy said no. So Ed Mylet kept coming back, month after month after month. And one day the guy said, yeah, I'll sell it to you. So Ed Mylet didn't think that the guy was going to say yes because Ed didn't even have the money for it. So the guy said, well, listen, if you give me the house that you have, if you give me your car, you give me everything you got, I'll give you the plot of land. And Ed Mylet said, okay, deal, let's do it. So he traded in everything for this plot of land. Okay. So what ended up happening was he hires this architect, he hires his, builder or whatever, comes out to the site and the guy says, he tells Ed Mylet, he says, you can't build out here, right? And Ed Mylet is like, what do you mean I can't build out here? And the guy says, this whole plot right here, it's not dirt, it's rock. Like we can't build on this. And so Ed is like stressing out because he'd just given up everything for this plot of land. He didn't have any money, right? Or much money. And he says, okay, so he says, you know what? Here's a solution. What we can do to build on this plot of land, he says, we can actually like bomb this area. Like we can throw dynamites, have it explode so all the rocks can just crumble. We can hire a company to come in and take out the rocks, pull it all out, and then we can go ahead and build up that home, right? So Ed says, cool, let's dynamite the place. How much is it going to be? He says it's going to be $40,000. He says, deal, let's do it. They dynamite the whole place, rocks break everywhere, and he says, how much is it going to be now to remove the rock? And he says it's going to be $200,000. And Ed's like, dude, I don't have the money for it, right? And so the guy says, you know what I think we could do? He says we could actually take the rocks that we just blew up, and we can actually use that to build a foundation, and we can actually use that to build your home. So so Ed's like, you can take the rocks and build a home. The guy's like, yeah. So anyways, it's like a palace in Idaho where like a bunch of famous people, even Tony Robbins, a bunch of these famous guys like will visit this place because it's probably the most astonishing mansion out in Idaho, because the whole foundation and the whole house was actually built by the rocks. Like, was actually built by the rocks that they blew up. So they turned that mess into a freaking castle. And what I'm here to tell you all is that no matter what mess you have, or what mess you've been in, or what mess is currently going on, you can turn that around and create it to one of the best success stories of your life. Guys, I've been there. Like, I'm not just talking about it. I've been to the point where there's no money in my bank account, and it's just a flip in the brain, a flip in your activity, and your life can change so fast. It is crazy. So if you're going to turn your mess into purpose, if you're going to turn your mess into a success, if you're going to turn your mess into a message, drop a 4 in the comments below. And I'm speaking realness to you all because a lot of times you guys don't get the realness. A lot of you guys get the fluff on social media of people trying to make it sound like it's supposed to be the easiest thing in the world. It is not. And I'm talking right now to like the people that want to get to the top, regardless of what that means to you. Get to the top. I don't care what that means to you. For me, I don't really know if there's a top, guys. I keep fighting for that next level. I keep fighting for the next version of me. But the point is this, is that you got to commit. You got to commit to your dream, and you got to tell yourself, I cannot be bought. You got to look in the mirror right now and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to achieve this, and I cannot be bought. No matter who laughs in my face, no matter who rejects me, no matter what failures I have to go through, no matter what, my dreams will not be bought. Because here's the thing. When you give up on your dreams, it doesn't just affect you. It affects the people in your life. If I were to quit on my dreams, it would not just affect me. That's nothing, right? But what it would affect is the wifey. It would affect my wife. It would affect my kids. I wouldn't have the opportunity that I do today to provide for them the way I do. That's what drives me, guys, is to be able to give that life to my family. And there's no way in heck I will ever let anyone buy my dreams. I am not for sale. Are you for sale? Or are you committing right now to say, you know what, my dreams will not be bought? Put in the comments below. Say, I will not be bought. My dreams will not be bought. Say it to yourself over and over again. Look in the mirror. Just say, nothing's going to come in and take my dreams. I'm not going to be bought, period. Commit to that for yourself, okay? Because when, like, everyone has different beliefs, right? Sorry, I'm deleting some of these notes. Everyone has different beliefs, but here's what I'll tell you. Like, just picture this belief for now. Picture that there's an afterlife, and picture that when you die, the first thing that happens when you die is you get introduced to the greatest version of yourself that you could have become, right? Like, picture right now, like, you die, and the first thing that happens is you get introduced to the person that you could have become. And there's going to be one of two things that'll happen. You're going to say, we're complete opposite. I didn't know I had the potential to do that. Like, your best self will be presented to you. And that person will be like, you could have been this, you could have achieved this, you could have bought this, you could have experienced this. And you're going to look at that person and you're going to say, damn, we're opposites, we're strangers. Do you want to be a stranger to your greatest self? Or you're going to have the other experience of being like, you know what, man? Like, I've been chasing you my whole life. And I'm glad that we may not be identical, but I'm pretty damn close to what I thought my full potential was. Right? And I think that that's what drives me, because it's like, no matter like what you achieve, right? Like, for me, it's like, it's not even about the money anymore. It's just about like, what's that next thing that I could do? Like, what do I struggle with in my life, and how can I just go and kill it? Right? So anyways, guys, when you're looking at your life, are you going to commit to your dreams? Are you going to say, hey, you know what? come heck or high water, I'm going to do it. I don't care how long it takes. Because you see a lot of the stories, right? You see a lot of the stories of, like, for example, in our company, we have a rank called diamond. So you might see a lot of people breaking diamond. And here's the thing. The biggest mistake that people make is they start to compare themselves because they say, man, that person hit diamond in 6 weeks, or that person hit diamond in 2 months, or that person hit diamond in a month, whatever. It doesn't matter, you all. Like, everyone has their own journey. And by the way, it's not just about getting to the top rank of your compensation plan. That's step one. You're not done when you get to the top rank of the compensation plan, because here's what I'll tell you right now. How does a lion know that it's a lion? Does anybody know how a lion knows that it's a lion? I'll tell you how a lion knows that it's a lion. A lion knows that it's a lion when the lion gives birth to a lion. So just because you hit the top rank of your compensation plan, diamond, okay, that means nothing. It does mean something, right? Congrats, step one. But now, if you're a real diamond, you're going to go out there and create what? More diamonds. If you're a lion, you're going to give birth to lions. If you're a diamond, go give birth to diamonds. Step one, get to diamond. Step two, help other people get to diamond. Step three, tell them to go out there and do the same thing. It's about giving birth to as many diamonds as we possibly can. Drop in the comments diamond, 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 because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Every single person in our company is going to hit diamond, period. And I will work 24/7. I'll be on Zooms. I'll be on calls. I'll be on planes when this COVID-19 is over. And I will get into those markets, because come heck or high water, guys, we will be the hottest direct selling company in the industry. Everyone's going to go diamond. Everyone's going to get to the top, because I'm going to make sure that at the end of the day, when I go to sleep at night, that I've done everything I possibly can. Y'all know my business partner, Demetrius Saruno. Him and I are rocking Zoom calls back to 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 back. I think in the last 3 days, we've probably done around 27 Zoom calls back to back to back to back to back to back. Now, I don't say that to like impress anybody or to brag about ourselves. I'm just saying, step one was for us to get diamond. Step one was for us to make it possible. Step one was for us to say, hey, you know what? In 4 months, we can do, 2.4 million in sales. Now it's about going out there and helping other people do the same thing. And we will do it 24/7 until the job is done. The job is far from done. It's only 4 months in. So turn your mess into a purpose. Now, here's the thing. Once you've committed to turning your mess into a message, once you've committed to turning your mess into a purpose, here's what you got to do. You got to get excited, guys. You have to get fired up. You have to light yourself on fire. And here's why. Everything in life, everything is energy, right? There's a book called How I Took Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. It's an amazing book. How I Took Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. And the entire book can be summed up in one word. Hey, what's up, Ramir from Philippines? Hit me up, brother. We got some Philippine stuff popping. Everything can be summed up into one word, and that's called enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, guys. If you don't have life in you, if you have no enthusiasm, then you got nothing. You know that great quote that they say, like, most people, die at the age of 20. They just don't get around to burying them till they're 70, right? Or whatever it is. It's because they've given up on their dreams. They've given up on their goals, and there's no enthusiasm in there. There's no life in them. And here's what I'll tell you. You guys want to get out there and have major success. You guys want to up your recruiting. You want to up your customer acquisition. Up your enthusiasm. Like literally, like what I do every single day. Like I'm telling you all, and I've been saying this on training Zooms all week. I've been saying, like, listen, before you send a message every day, like if this is what you do before you send out a message, right? If you look at your vision board, and I say look because like my vision board is right there. I got a vision board and I also got a notebook full of my vision board pictures in it. I got them in my phone, okay? But when I come down to my office, right? Like when I wake up in the morning, I'll wake up at 5 a.m. I get onto the treadmill. I lift a little bit of weights. I get my workout in. and my blood is pumping, right? Like I'm just, I'm good, right? Like I'm on fire. I'm in action mode, right? Like if you say I'm gonna take action and you hop on a treadmill, your brain starts to get used to the idea that when you say action, you get into activity. So I go out there and I get a workout in. Okay, and so my blood starts flowing. You don't have to hop on a treadmill. You can go on a walk for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, okay? But then what I do, guys, and this is crazy, this can sound cuckoo, but it'll up your recruiting. I go onto YouTube on my laptop and I listen to a song that just fires me up, right? I don't care what it is. I just listen to a song that fires me up. And while I'm listening to that song, I'm walking around in my office just feeling myself, right? Just feeling like my best self, looking at the picture, saying, gosh, like it is happening now. Thank you. And I start to feel like everything that I have on my wall, everything that I have in my notebooks that I've written that I'm going after, I feel like it's happening right now. It's coming into my world. I'm grateful for it. I'm like beating my chest. I'm just all sorts of fired up and I have my energy at sky high. My enthusiasm is at sky high. So when I hit the book, when I hit the phone, when I start to follow up with people, when I start to reach out to people, guys, they're going to be like, dude, what is this guy on? I don't even know what he said in his message, but dude, add me to that group. Like this guy is fired up, right? And so what I tell people all the time is like, listen, like it does not matter what you say to invite people to recruit them, what you say to invite someone to be a part of a group so that they can be a customer, what you say to them, rarely does that matter. Rarely can you butcher an invitation if your energy is sky high. That might be 10% of the reason why someone says yes. The other 90% is going to be literal energy. It's going to be enthusiasm. It's going to be your physiology, right? If you're sitting down, bored, no life in you, and you're like, hey man, I just hope you're well. Just want to let you know I'm doing a new MLM thing. Like, listen. You're not going to recruit anybody. And I'm speaking realness, guys. I hope I'm not offending anyone. But what I'm saying is like, light yourself up. Get a little life in you. Bump your favorite music. Be yourself. Be yourself. And then just look at those pictures, get excited and feel that energy. And as soon as you're just in that moment, that's when all of a sudden you start to reach out to people and your recruiting goes high. Your customer acquisition goes higher. I promise you, this is not made up. This is actually like real science. So you got to light yourself on fire, you all. And here's what I'll tell you. After you've lit yourself on fire, you got to take massive activity for a consistent period of time. So I was reading a Tony Robbins book. It's called Unshakable. It's right here. Have you guys read Unshakable? Well, anyways, it's like an investment book, right? It talks about like investments and how to compound your money, okay? And here's the thing that he said that I thought was really interesting. He said that the main reason why or the difference in someone that has big investments versus someone that doesn't or has consistent compounding happening to their finances. I'll try to not butcher it, but it's something to the extent of this. Sometimes people that may have a lot of money, for example, may be waiting for that moment where the market takes a dip. Okay, they're looking for that moment where the market takes a dip. So that's the moment that they invest their money to buy. So when the market has like an up curve, right, all of a sudden their money can compound, right? It can triple, quadruple, whatever. And he says that strategy never works because he says that in like a 30-year period, that really only happens 10 times. And if it only happens 10 times, you don't know when it's happening. And you can't predict it, right? It's almost unpredictable, but you don't know exactly when it's going to happen. And even then, even if you got it right half the time, you still wouldn't outproduce the person that regardless through an up or a down, they just kept feeding their investment a little bit every single month. Does that make sense? Like, quit waiting just for the hot moment or quit waiting for the down moment. Or more importantly, don't just work on the days that are going good. Work on the days that are going bad, guys. We all have good days. We all have bad days. But it's the person that's taking massive action every day, consistently, every single day, every single week, every single month. Over the next 24 months, will become the top producers, will become the top earners of the company. Look, we've been in 4 months. Hey, that's step one. But what if I stop working today? There's going to be people in the organization that outproduce me, that out-earn me. And by the way, I hope that happens. I hope there's a lot of people that are in my organization that earn a lot more money than I do. That would be great for me, okay? But the point is that I'm not just going to keep working because it's a good time, and I'm not going to stop working because it's a bad time. What I'm committed to is my non-negotiables that I'm going to take day in and day out and keep working and working and working regardless if it's sunny outside, regardless if it's raining. I'm going to have my non-negotiables that come heck or high water. I'm going to do every single day. Do you have your non-negotiables lined up for yourself? Do you have the non-negotiables that regardless of what's going on in business, regardless who said no, regardless who said yes, regardless who hit rank, regardless who quit, no matter what, do you have your non-negotiables that you will commit to day in and day out? I have my non-negotiables. I know what I got to do every single day, regardless of what's going on in the organization. I have my non-negotiables. Look at yourself in the mirror, come up with your non-negotiables, and get at it, guys. And the last thing I'll end with is this. You have to start to create a new mental image about yourself. You have to start to create new belief systems about yourself. And I have a few different ideas of how that happens, okay? Because I'm also reading another book. I'm like that weird guy that reads like 4 or 5 books at a time. But I'm reading a book, and it's talking about pain and pleasure, okay? And if you develop enough pain for something, you will avoid it. If you develop enough pleasure for something, you will continue to invite that thing in your life. Why do you think Netflix is so lit? Why do you think fast food is always selling more than anything else? Why is it? Because society has created that as the ultimate pleasure. But on the reverse side, what is the pain? The pain is that if you're glued to a TV, you might not be doing the things that you need to do to take your life to the next level. If you're associating fast food with pleasure, then that means that you're not doing the things that you need to do to take your health to the next level. And over time, that does affect you, regardless of what you think. It does affect you. So what I'll tell you is, what's up, Cameron Court? So what I'll tell you is that in order to start changing your beliefs right now, in order to start changing the way you feel, like, let me give you an example, okay? Like for me, I've hated dieting. The idea of getting in shape or the idea of working out, like in my brain for a long time has been associated with pain. Here's why. Because I think about crappy, boring food. I think about diets. I think about hopping on a treadmill and just being like, dude, I am getting nowhere. I'm just running in the same place over and over and again. And I associate that stuff with painful crap. And not that it's painful, but I associate it with just stuff that I'm like, dude, I have no interest in that, right? So what happens is I haven't been motivated to work out, if that makes sense. I haven't been motivated to consume the foods that are healthy, right? So the point of that is that now in order for me to switch it up, I have to change it. I have to start associating pain to the idea of not doing those things. So what pain comes from working out? What pain comes from, eating or not eating healthy or not working right? There's a lot of pain that can come from not working out and not eating healthy. It could lead to a heart attack. It could lead to me not being around for my kids. It could be, I'll go back to another story that Ed Mylet shared. He shared that, he attended a funeral. It was his uncle's funeral, and his uncle died of a heart attack. So after that funeral, he said, hey, you know what? He said, I'm going to go to the doctors to get a checkup because I want to make sure that I don't have any heart problems. So he went and got a checkup at the doctor. The doctor ran some tests, and then he came back to Eddie. He came back to Ed Mylet, and he said, you're going to want to sit down for this. So Ed is like, he sits down, and he's like, what's going on? Am I in trouble? And the doctor says, do you want to be around for your daughter's wedding? And he says, well, yeah. He's like, how old's your daughter? He's like, oh, my daughter's 6 years old. He's like, okay, so when she's, 20 years old, do you want to be that man that walks her down the aisle and gives her away? Or do you want it to be her stepdad? Do you want your wife to marry somebody else when you're long gone? And Ed Mylet is thinking, dude, like, what's going on? And am I going to have a heart attack? Is my heart not working? What's going on? The guy's saying, if you continue to go on the same path, you will not be around to walk your daughter down the aisle. You will not be around long enough to do anything for your kids. More importantly, you won't be around and your wife will end up with somebody else if you continue to do what you're doing. That was enough association of pain to his current lifestyle that his brain flipped. It switched. And when you look at Ed Mylet now, the guy is freaking ripped, like he's shredded. The guy is probably the most fit dude out there. And he's even helped coach athletes because he got so ripped, so shredded, so much. He got so fit, right? Because at that moment, there was so much pain. The doctor did it right. The doctor associated so much pain to his current lifestyle that he said, what's more painful is not going to the gym or eating healthy. What's more painful is actually not being there to walk my daughter down the aisle the day she gets married. So from that day, it switched. His diet switched. His exercise habit switched. The guy's never gone back to the old self. So if you're trying to change a belief, right, and it's okay, you got to be real with yourself. If you're trying to change a belief right now, you got to start to associate what your current reality is to more pain than pleasure. Right? And then you got to associate what the success that you want to have to more pleasure, right? Because it can be easy to say, hey, I want to get to diamond. That sounds all good. But then when you start to think about the painful stuff of like, man, I got to go recruit people. Man, I got to go get customers. Man, I got to go do this. I got to go do that. And you start to associate all these painful things to it. You'll never get to diamond because your belief is like, your belief is like, I want to, but hey, your subconscious belief is, dude, that sucks, right? So you got to start to associate it differently. What is the painful stuff of not achieving diamond? Well, maybe you don't get to go on that dream vacation that you've been talking to your kids about. Maybe you don't get to walk away from your job. Maybe you don't get to pay off the mortgage for your family. Maybe you start to associate enough pain that it triggers a flip switch in your brain and you start to believe differently. When I started to believe differently, it's because my back was against the wall and there was too much pain for me to be like, this can't be it. If this is it, like, kill me now, right? Like, honestly, like that's my level of intensity that I got. I'm like, dude, if this is all it is, like, I'm done. And my back was against the wall and it flipped a switch in my belief system where I'm like, I'm stretching, I'm working, I'm going after it. And your life can change so fast. So you have to start to reassociate what you're really believing to be pleasurable or what you're associating your things to be painful. And when you start to change those associations, your belief level will change. The next thing is this: start to doubt certain things. Start to doubt the things that you're not doing start doubting the things that you're doing that are not giving you the results that you want. Maybe you do like to watch TV. Start to doubt it. Start to say, hey, is it really getting me to where I want to be? The moment you start to create the doubts, because you got to look at yourself and be honest with yourself. You got to say, hey, what is it that's holding me back? Right? You got to start to doubt the things that you're currently doing in order to get to that next level and then get convicted in those things, because that's the third step. And the third step is conviction, right? I talk about, I say the word revolution probably like 60, 70 times a day. And I think that a revolution can only be created through conviction, right? You can only change your life through, like you can create your own revolution in life, whatever it is, right? You can create your own revolution of saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to completely revolutionize my life. And it's never going to be the same again. And if you have enough conviction behind that, you will do it. Right? So it's not just enough to believe, like to have belief, right? Like it's not just enough to say, hey, I believe in this. You have to get convicted, right? When my back was against the wall, I got convicted with the idea that, you know what? We're going to change the game. When I saw Be Epic, I said, we're going to change the freaking game, dude. Like, I am convicted in this idea, and we're going to launch the biggest freaking revolution that the direct selling industry has ever seen. And it's happening, guys. There's like 30 to 40 ranks popping every single day. We are doing volume like insane amounts. Are we perfect? No. Do we have issues? Yes. But I'm convicted in the idea that when the history books are written about MLM, hey, they might remember Amway. They might remember Herbalife. They sure as hell will remember Be Epic. You know why? Because of you. You know why? Because we decided to come into this revolution and we were convicted in this movement. We were convicted in the idea that we were going to change the game, because there's way too many people not getting paid. There's way too many people doing the work and it's not happening for them. And I'll tell you what, you come do work here with our company and it will happen for you. I'm convicted in that idea. No one else pays 50% retail. Signing up for free. lifestyle bonuses that we have early in the compensation plan. We are changing the game, you all. And I can't ask people to tell me how much money they've made because people are making money day in and day out because we're convicted behind this idea that there is nothing out there in this industry that exists that's better than our company, period. And I believe that every single day. And that's what drives me. It drives me when I see these testimonials of people that are paying their mortgages for the month and they would have been in trouble because they got laid off because of COVID-19. But because of this company now, because of our model, the way we pay, how fast we pay, and how much we pay is changing the game for people. Okay, now I'm not saying that it's perfect, but what I'm saying is that you have the vehicle here. Now it's up to the person behind the wheel, and you're the person behind the wheel. There's always going to be people in a company that are winning. There's always going to be people in a company that are losing. And most of the time, it's because the person that's losing doesn't believe that they can actually win. Up your belief, up your enthusiasm, up your conviction. Change the game. Disrupt yourself. Write down some habits today that aren't serving you and just say, from here on out, I'm a new person. Start walking different. Start talking different. Start treating yourself different. Take yourself to the next level. The vehicle is here, but now it's up to you, and you're the driver, right? And by the way, if you're listening to this and you're a different network marketing company, whatever, you're still the driver of your vehicle, and it's going to be up to you how you're going to drive it. Now, I prefer to drive fast vehicles. I like to go fast. I like to take action. And the quickest way to change your belief, the last step to change your belief is your massive action that you're going to take. If you're scared to talk to people, right? If you're scared to reach out to someone to invite them to take a look at your network marketing business and you want to be completely done with that fear, number one, again, start to associate differently from pain and pleasure. But number two, go take massive action. If you're like, I was telling someone earlier today on a Zoom call, by the way, my phone might die, but I was telling someone reached out to me. They said, hey, I haven't had success in the last couple weeks. I said, well, tell me how many people you've reached out to. This individual says none. And I said, what do you mean none? Oh, you know what? I've been doing a lot of attraction marketing pictures on Facebook. I've been doing a lot of attraction and marketing Facebook stories. And I said, that's not enough. That's not enough. And that's the problem. That's the problem with this industry, you all, is that too many people are out there teaching you how to post a cool selfie, and they're not teaching you how to build a real business. A real business, it takes for you to develop skills. It takes for you to learn a different mindset. It takes for you to believe different, right? And just because you got a pretty picture and you got a lot of likes and comments doesn't mean that you believe differently about yourself. In order for you to change the game, you all, you got to change your belief. You got to take massive action. So if you're scared to talk, I'll end with this. If you're scared to talk to people, if you're scared to reach out and invite someone to take a look at your business, set the goal to do it fast. Go reach out to 100 people in the next 48 hours and watch that fear disappear. The only reason why you're scared of it is because it's not in your comfort territory. You got to get out of that. You got to open up your territory, right? By talking to a lot of people, by taking massive action. So get out there, believe differently, get out there, take massive action, right? You know the whole quote of you only live once, just do it. Just get it done. You're going to have to do it anyways. You're going to have to do the work. If you want to get the diamond, you got to recruit people anyways. You're like, look, it's going to happen. 5 years are going to happen anyways. Do the work. Just get out there, get it done, because the faster you get it over with, the more you can enjoy the rest of it. All right. So anyways, guys, hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for being on my live, and we'll talk to you on another one.